Yo, this is a quick, not holding back. It ain't Sunday. It's a motherfucking, well, I think Friday or Thursday. Whenever I post this and feel like I want to post this. All right, PlaqueBoyMax came out and said this, and a lot of streamers have said this, and I think even Duke Dennis said this to a point where I agreed, right? Before I play in these clips, I'm going to let you know this right now. As a content creator, is this shit hard? From my point of view, trying to grow, trying to like reach a certain point and the consistency, yes, that is the hard part, right? I'm not one of these channels who's writing 52 scripts and sitting down about to give an entire explanation on why the Spider-Verse is breaking in animation and breaking in storytelling, or why Miles Morales is not the best Spider-Man there is and why Peter Parker's on top. I'm not doing that shit. Also, if you hear anything loud, it's raining. So I want to be honest and clear to every single person when I say this from the core of my fucking chest. Streaming, is it harder than a 9 to 5? I'm going to tell you this right now. No, the fuck is not. 9 to 5, depending on the person, ain't hard. Depending on anybody else who doesn't want to work a 9 to 5, it is hard. Because you have to deal with a 9 to 5 job. I'll just make myself clear. You have to deal with a 9 to 5 job. Now, dealing with a 9 to 5 job compared to streaming, because with 9 to 5, you starting and you clocking out and then you repeating the process over. With streaming, you set your own hours, you set your own individual shit. Same thing with YouTube. I have a list, an actual fucking schedule that I've been kind of fucking up lately just because I've been like in my head and dealing with some other shit on the other side of the internet. But that's personal shit and you don't care about that. But when it comes to this, when streamers start saying shit like this, then I have a problem.
That's what I'm saying. Being like a streamer or any face on the internet is harder than a 9 to 5 in certain ways because it fuck you up mentally. Now, waking up every day and go to a job and lifting boxes, like depending on what you're doing, that's just tough too. That shit is hard. That shit is very hard. That shit is very hard. It's very hard. Like, you feel me? Especially when you're doing a job you don't enjoy doing. That shit is tough. That shit will fuck with your mental. You might want to, you feel me? You might be tired of it. You might be unhappy. But being a face, like being a top streamer, is difficult because of all the shit you go through in terms of like living life. I promise. I'm telling you, gang. You are literally seeing thousands of niggas give their thoughts on you every second. That's not supposed to be. Like, no human brain normally should be able to tolerate that. Just keeping it a buck. It's not true. You feel me? Facts. I'm telling the truth. Most of y'all cannot.
Now, I can agree with one thing with PlaqueBoyMax, right? I can agree with Max here. One thing. Having tons and millions of people see your point of view, your identity, who you are, dissect you, talk about you, all this other shit, get into your relationship statuses. My ear is itching really like bad. I think I cut it. It's fucking annoying. So the fact that he says this, I agree with that. Look, this social media shit ain't healthy for some niggas. It's not good for some people. And it's not something that we should be glorifying as it's the greatest thing ever. Yes, from IShowSpeed, Kai Cenat, anybody from AMP, you got money, you got finances, you got more options, you can set your family for life, you can work with amazing brands. I think anybody wants to do it. I want to do that. I want to be somebody who connects with people and can work with that. Kai Cenat is in the Snoop Dogg compound, as we just recently seen, and he's doing a 30-day subathon. From now to the end of the month to December, bro is raking it, and he's giving 20% to fucking charity, building a school in Nigeria. Hopefully he finds the right contractors, the right people, and it actually gets done, because that 20% is a lot of money for those kids in that school in Nigeria. God bless Kai Cenat, and hopefully they can get it done. Hopefully it is done the right way that he wants it, because that's just a lot happening, even for a content creator, to get the best of the best, knowing that you're not going to get scammed. God bless him.
Who live streams for a living is speaking out. PlaqueBoyMax says everything that glitters isn't gold.
Yeah, we might be in a $5 to $10 million mansion. Yeah, I might wake up every day and have like no responsibilities if I don't, and be good the rest of my life. But at the same time, bro, people criticize me. And because people criticize me, it makes me sad inside. And that's why it's harder than any job, any 9 to 5 could bring.
Now, the question is streaming more stressful than we thought? Influencer Rich Lux is here to talk about it. Now, he had a case until he told me about his mansion and made all the money. You know, most people just can't accept that and say that you are, you know, we feel sorry for you. Obviously, you know, we have entertainers who perform in front of millions of people, make millions of dollars, but then...
Oh my God, I have a lot to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Know,
let's get you started.
Being on camera, as you would know, it takes a lot of energy, you know, to be live and be on camera and give the personality. But in my opinion, it's no way more stressful than a 9-to-5. When you have people who are building houses, when you have people like producers who have to wake up and grind every day, and you have.
I agree.
What I do is nothing compared to a neurosurgeon or a doctor or a dentist, in any means, or someone who, like I said, works at a grocery store. I know that what I do for a living, I am blessed to do it. It's a dream job. So many kids want to be influencers or TikTokers and things like that. But in this situation, I don't think that being a streamer is harder than a 9-to-5. In no way. It's a blessing. It's a great job, but it's not hard. And that's why I don't agree with Max at all. At all.
But you have a heavy workload that you told me about. So tell me, how many hours do you have to be on social? Obviously, we talked about streaming. How many hours a day or how many hours a month or year are you on social media working, trying to present your product to keep people interested in Rich Lux?
Yeah, when it comes to filming the YouTube side, I'm looking at about a good 4 hours. But when it comes to streaming, I'm putting in about 15 hours a day streaming. And
4 hours a day on YouTube. 15 hours a day streaming. When
and that's
there's
like
24 hours a day.
I let the camera keep rolling. As I'm making the YouTube video, I'm streaming it. Like me editing it and talking and filming it. Just like I'm doing this show here, we're streaming right now. And then when that's done with, I'm still streaming. And I gotta literally take the camera with me to the store, shopping, out and about. It just keeps rolling. And my goal is 150 hours within a month, but I can knock it out in a week. But if I get hardly any sleep or I sleep on camera and just keep it going.
But you say that doesn't compare to anything.
It doesn't. Either you got it or you don't. You know, being on camera, as you know, some people don't have that je ne sais quoi to have that personality to do what people do on social media. A lot of people, they want it, but don't have that personality to do it.
And could it be that these individuals are also under a lot of public scrutiny and eyes, and that may be more of it than actually them streaming, because they're constantly in their comments reading possibly criticism or negativity.
Yeah. You know, like, if you're going to put yourself on camera, you're going to get negative comments about you. I've never seen an influencer or a creator make content that doesn't want no one to see it. They post videos so people can see it and photos, and with that comes criticism. But the criticism does not negate the fact that that's harder than a 9-to-5.
Right.
Because even at a 9-to-5, there's workplace drama. It's just the way it is. And I've made a whole living doing celebrity news and gossip. So
moving forward as a content creator, I do believe, yes, your mental health is going to be at a risk. But at the end of it, this is controversial, and some people might find it unacceptable. As far as unacceptable as possible. But I want to let you all know this is a choice. You chose to make your content. You chose to interact with an audience. You chose to talk to a fucking camera in an empty ass room with nobody in it. This guy. But when you open the book of dumbass and you say to yourself, this is harder than a 9-to-5, personally, I could take maybe 50-50. A 9-to-5 is different because when I used to work at a bullshit movie theater called iPick Movie Theater in the Fulton Street, hated that job, hated that company, hated it. Also has rats. Fuck that place. But when I tell you this, the management was shit, the employees were lazy as shit, and every time we had to clean, niggas was acting like they didn't want to be there. And if you don't want to be there, bro, why come and clock in? Just for an easy check. And I get it. I understand. We all want to get paid. We all want to live fine. But I swear to you, when people start bitching,
this is a sickness.
It is a sickness of the highest fucking order. And I only say this because I've bitched millions of times. I worked security at like a shitty fucking place in the Bronx, right? And before it was at a cool place in Manhattan, then it was at a shitty place in the Bronx because I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That shit happens. And next thing you know, you just don't want to do it anymore. You simply don't want to sit here and do it no more because sometimes it's shit. You deal with shitty people, shitty employees, shitty management. Your pay ain't worth the stress. And then a job starts pulling back your hours, starts disrespecting you. iPick and Fulton they started pulling back my hours on purpose. But everybody else was like, oh, you know, it's not just you, it's also me. I said, well, I want a consistent schedule. Niggas was calling me in for one day. Bitch, what is one day gonna do? I'm traveling down there and I'm staying all the way up until midnight. Niggas suck my dick, get the fuck out of here. So, to his credit, streaming is probably much, much harder. On another level is you have to connect with people, connect with an audience. You have to grow your audience. You have to build with people. You gotta social media fucking talk to people. You gotta get people on your side. And the stressful part is not from the streaming. It's from Twitter. It's from the people blogging and people like trying to find out everything about you, right? People want to know who you are as an individual. So everyone keeps saying parasocial, so they can try to have some sort of a connection with you. Now, don't get me wrong. I get it. We all want connections. We all want to be connected. But at the end of it, I don't find anything about streaming and YouTubing so hard as 9 to 5. I actually find a 9 to 5 job more easier to deal with because you have a consistent schedule. You know you're getting paid consistently. You know how much money you're making, and you can always use that to display your finances. Simple as that, personally. Because it's consistent, you know where the money's coming from, you know how to plot out your finances, and you're not stressing every day to post a video. Right now, I'm kind of stressing, not really stressing, but I'm also at that urge that I am monetized, but I don't have the fucking power to get the money I want because obviously, well, niggas just shooting me now. I only say this to you as the viewer. YouTube is not hard. Content creation is not hard unless you're choosing a lane that is already filled with motherfuckers. I'm gonna let you know this right now. If you read like Manga Storian, shout out to Comic Storian, God bless Benny. When Manga Storian or Comic Storian was coming out and they were just kind of reading through comic books and dissecting them, I want to see more manga channels and anime channels really dissect the mangas and really go ham and really take everything, switch it into their own words, and actually do that. I want to see more, right? I've seen guys uploading full-on cartoon, full-on anime and jokes and shit, or manhwas, and dissecting the shit out of that, and just throwing it up there with a AI voice changer and making mad money. Easy. Easy. This content shit is easy. It's hard depending if you don't know where you're going and what your lane is. That's it.
Go streaming harder than a 9 to 5. Look, why does this conversation keep on happening as if all 9 to 5s are the same? Some 9 to 5s you got to be in a mine. Some of them you have to be working really hard. Some of them you can fuck off all day long. I've worked 9 to 5s while I was listening to Joe Rogan all day. I've worked 9 to 5s where I fell asleep at the job and the boss woke me up. I've worked 9 to 5s where I have to be at Subway. They're all different. There's not just one thing that's a 9 to 5. What does that mean? You work for 8 hours? So what a stupid comparison. Streaming. Be specific about the job before you just say working.
It's harder than a regular job. Not saying that this is easy, but it's not easier than a nigga having to wake up on somebody else's schedule. I'm not gonna lie, I used to think that it was harder than having a job. I used to. A hard worker is a hard worker. So if you're a hard worker as a streamer, I do think it's equivalent to you being a hard worker at a job. You put in the hours, you create the content, you pay for the content, you sit there, you do your thing, but not easier than a regular job.
Streaming harder than a real job? Bro, what? Before I was a streamer, I saw a YouTuber say like, man, y'all just don't understand. This is more difficult than just normal 9 to 5. Well, guess what, chat? I am in the position and I can sit here and tell you it's not even close to as hard as a real job. I ain't about to sit here and tell y'all like, oh man, I'll be working hard. Bro, I don't. Dude, I sit here and stream every day. You know what I get to do for a living, bro? I get to hang out with my people 4 hours a day, bro. I wake up at like 2 p.m. every day, get up, don't do nothing all day, and I sit here and stream, bro.
Streaming is not harder than a 9 to 5. Streaming is a hobby that you looked up and you made it your career. Making content is a hobby, something you do on your fucking free time. Never compare having to get up and go to work when somebody else say so, get off work when somebody else say so. You gotta ask somebody else if you can relax. I be dead ass super grateful. I be telling y'all I appreciate y'all a lot, what real fucking life is.
I appreciate someone like Duke's perspective in this conversation because we know from his military background that he at least has some wherewithal or understanding as to what it takes to work what a lot of people would consider a real job. And as much as he talked about how easy the job may have been in the military, he might have been sitting behind a desk. It's the fact that you are still under someone's control as opposed to when you are streaming or creating content. There is specifically a certain level where if you do not post, then you have a level of freedom that cannot come from having a 9-to-5 job. And
I believe Duke Dennis said something on the lines of, a 9-to-5 is hard if you make it hard. Streaming is hard if you make it hard. All of these things can be hard. Now, is one harder and difficult more than the other? Necessarily, no. But you, the person on the other end, make it hard on yourself if you don't know if this is really what you want, right? PlaqueBoyMax, half of the FaZe crew, everybody from AMP, RDC, this is their lives. For how long they do it, that's up to them. For how much they want to invest, retire, stop doing it, that's up to them. Because someone like PewDiePie, who moved to Japan, created, is drawing manga or anime characters, is retired. He don't have to make content. He don't have to struggle. He's financially good because he has millions of dollars and he lives in a place where all of his money is basically cheap. He lives in cheaper areas for himself and his wife and his kid. I'm telling you this right now. The older we get, the harder this shit is, right? I've been doing YouTube for 13, 14, 15 years, right? Let me see, 2011. Yeah, a long fucking time, right? And I didn't start taking this serious until even further that when I actually got a schedule and someone helped me out with it. When it comes down to it, I've also made life changes. Sometimes this shit fucks you up. Now, I agree with PlaqueBoyMax. People dissecting you, people looking at you. It's hard. Scheduling, it's not hard to schedule when you're going to stream, when you're going to log the fuck off. If you're doing subathons for how many, like, if a streamer is doing a 3-month subathon, yo, you bugging. You bugging. How entertaining. Kai Cenat is doing 30 days. 30 days. From now until the end of the month, nigga, that's a lot of content. That's a lot of people watching his content, editing it. He's sleeping on stream, people doing stuff. Come on. For him to consistently keep on entertaining, the hardest shit in the world, I think. Because I can't even do that, right? I want to do a 30-day stream. I want to do a subathon. And I realize I don't really got that much energy and time for it. I'm not always hyped. I'm not always animated. I'm sitting here playing games like, and some people don't like that shit. And I agree. Streaming though, and being on this shit, you got to schedule. You can clock off, clock in. You can do that. You don't got to hit people up and talk about this shit is hard. And talk about this shit is too much. Because at the end of the day, that's a personal choice. Aiden said it. Other people have said it. That streaming is harder than a 9-to-5. No. I don't think streaming is harder than a 9-to-5. Is it harder than joining the military? Probably the fuck not. Is it harder with doing paperwork? Probably the fuck not. I don't think nothing is harder than the other option. It's not. I do think it's depending on person. Person to person, this shit is probably hard for PlaqueBoyMax. If I was in his shoes and I had as much as he had, listen, I'm just going to be doing my thing. Fuck it. There's nothing wrong with I'm animated, right? But when I'm streaming, I'm somehow not as animated because I'm focused on the game. I'm trying to see if the chat is up. I'm doing a lot, right? I'm trying to keep myself motivated and energized because takes motivation and time at the end of the day. Do I agree with Max that this is the hardest shit ever? Probably not. I think there's harder things than streaming. There's being a construction worker, being a plumber, being an electrician, installing solar panels, being any type of person hands-on with something, right? Even me, I used to fix PS3 controllers and I can't even fix these no more. So I've learned things get harder depending on how much effort and time you put into something. And don't get me wrong, I could open up a phone and I'm technical with this shit and I can fix it, but I may not be I'm not an Apple Store engineer. So when it comes to software stuff, I'm not that type of guy. When it comes to other things I can handle, I'm the type of guy. Everything is hard when it comes to the individual.
Streaming is hard. Streaming can be hard. Streaming can also be easy. It depends the type of streamer you are. Can jobs be hard? Facts. But can jobs also be easy? Facts. You can have an easy job. You literally set the difficulty on this shit.
I'm gonna say that for the most part. Is streaming harder than a 9 to 5? No. Is making content creation harder than the other? Probably, yeah. Content creation, you gotta think of thumbnails, titles, you gotta go back and forth, you gotta ask people if it's good or not, and then you just have to take a leap of faith to see if it works and it's good for you. At the end of it, nah, you gonna win some, you gonna lose some, you gonna get fucked up. It's either one of those. And to be real, that's what I think about it. Streaming ain't harder than 9 to 5, but it's probably still a hard task to keep yourself entertained, entertain others. And when 30 days of streaming and subathons are done, you're sleeping for days, working out, eating, being lazy, because this probably does affect someone's mental health. Like a 9 to 5 affects your mental health, dealing with your bills, wife, girlfriend, job, parents, sick, whatever. A lot of things affect and it gets harder. I think it really depends on you, the person. It's not just, this is harder than the other. This is harder than the other. No. It's how you take it personally. I do think there are some things harder when it comes to being a content creator than it is with streaming. With streaming, you can just turn on the cam, try to find something to do. You're not always being entertaining and turning on the energy. And when you turn that shit off, you're drained because you just pushed out all of that to the audience. Pause. Pause. I'm just letting you know that. So I disagree with PlaqueBoyMax on some of this. I also agree the fact that this shit gets kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? And some people are gonna say, nah, streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. Maybe hard to grow, yeah. It's not easy to grow with this shit. Even I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. It's hard to grow, but you need to find a community and then you go from there. But let me know what you think in the comments below. This is all, babble gook coming out of my fucking mouth, but let me know what you think. This is your boy Fat Man. Make sure you vote. I personally don't give a fuck. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, be notified. And from me to you, remember to never give up, never surrender, and keep on riding. Peace, and I am out of here. Have a good one. And let me know in the comments below what's harder, streaming or a 9 to 5. Let it be heard.
Shit. Getting on drum. You little niggas gonna stop acting like my shit ain't the grill. Some of you niggas get your front teeth for grills. And I ain't talking about the contract.
Ain't loving these fake hoes. Room smelling like 8 switches. Room service like 2K. NBA, I'm ballin', nigga. All them niggas falling like all them niggas. Talking shit, I saw them niggas. Now they daughter want a picture. Rough, ain't it? Fuck famous. Niggas too real, got the most haters. Wrote a story so Stephen Curry. How it feel to be golden.